Oi, oi, welcome. So, 2 Ws, 8 goals, and one very, very, very important London derby coming up. So, we have got my dad's team, West Ham, coming up in just over 24 hours' time. Big up to Dad always for being in the chat just while we're on that. It's a very important game for many, many, many reasons. One of them being a little cheeky side bet I've had with my dear father regarding the West Ham game. So, I'll tell you. If Arsenal win, he's sticking on a 1991 Arsenal shirt. I'll be taking a photo of it and I shall be posting it on my next stream. But that also means that there's a vice versa. And should we lose tomorrow, I very begrudgingly will put a West Ham top on, take a photo, and I will upload myself very, very, very miserable in the claret and blue. But do you know what? To be fair, people, I'm pretty confident that won't happen. But I'll tell you bloody what, Arsenal, you best not let me down, because this isn't 3 points anymore. You know, this geezer, my dad, will hold it over me for the rest of my life. So you better bloody get them 3 points tomorrow, Arsenal. So yeah, as you'd have noticed, I've got a guest to my right. Too many people, yeah, they want to live in the now. But we would never be here without what happened before. And let me tell you, when it comes to history, look no further, because the gentleman to my right has a channel with a plethora of Arsenal history that will fill your wee little bloody boots. Some call him Jez, like myself, Jezza, the Godfather. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Yeah. Looking forward to a little break next week, going away, which we'd planned 2 months back now. So looking forward to that. Going to chill, eat a lot, drink a lot, and have a great time. And unfortunately, I'm going to miss the Man United game, which I'm gutted about. But I think it'd be rude of me to say to the wife and the girls and the grandkids, "Oh, I'm just going to pop down to a pub and watch the Arsenal Man United game." I don't think that'd go down too well, to be fair. So that ain't happening. But actually, do you know, Aaron, I won't miss. Well, I will. That's a lie. I will, of course, I'll miss it. But I'm actually sort of like looking to have a little breakaway of it. I might well have a little break from YouTube on my channel for a while. I'm thinking about doing a revamp, looking at doing some other shit. The history stuff don't work. It's a waste of time doing it, which is a shame. I know there are people that enjoy it, but the amount of time
included.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, mate. And to be honest with you, when you spend 2-3 hours setting up a stream like that, and then you get bugger all views, it's like, what's the point? What is the point? So I'm gonna have a look at changing that. But I'll still be jumping on other channels like this one, Early Doors' as well, and Lee's, of course, and anywhere else I'll get invited. I'll just be the tart. I'll just sell my wares anywhere, mate.
The YouTube bike just being passed around,
yeah. So looking forward to that, mate.
Listen, I must say, I watched your stream, and to be fair, I was one of the people that you mentioned in that very much enjoyed it. I think I could have sat on there for another hour, 2-3 hours listening to you talk about history, because usually when you start talking about history, I shut up for a change because I'm so intrigued, and it's hard to shut my big old mouth. Trust me, a lot of people have. But yeah, when there's a bit of history, I do. But one thing I did want to say is, especially after the stream last night, it's good to have you on the stream, obviously, with me, but good to know that, you know, you're doing a revamp instead of, you know, just a full hard closing that door on there, because I think I'll speak for a lot of people, especially everyone in your community, would miss you. You offer a totally different angle than any other channel out there does. There's some similar ones, but yours is number one on that. And it would be a great miss. I know you want to do a little bit of a revamp and whatnot, but it would be a great miss. So I'm really glad that, you know, you're just deciding to maybe take a little bit of a break, see how it goes, go on a few other channels, passed around, as you say. And no, I'm buzzing that you've come to that sort of decision today, rather than shutting that door, mate. I really am.
Fair play, man. Thanks for that.
No worries.
I'm gonna have a little think about it and see how it goes and whatever and things like that. But yeah, no, I always enjoy going on other people's shows. That's how I started. You know, I mean, when I first went on Lee's show, Jesus, 6 years ago, something like that, whenever it was, I can't remember. And it was only people in his chat saying, Jez, do your own show. Jez, do your own show. And I thought, no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to. I'm not bothered. And then one day I just did. And I have enjoyed the journey, but it's got a little bit, what's the word? A little bit
AWire as such, isn't it? You know, a bit off the track, maybe.
It's gone not down the road that the history shit's a waste of time. And I've been thinking that for quite some time, to be honest. And so I'm probably going to bin it off, to be honest, and just do something else, to be honest with you.
It's a shame because there's significant parallels between the history and the content that you do, and unfortunately the type of fan that's coming through. And of course, I don't mean the type of fans that we get in our chats and, you know, the community or whatever. But I mean, the quality of Arsenal fan and probably football fan in general is significantly gone down, isn't it? So I think probably that has just coincided, unfortunately, with that. People don't want to know about what happened anymore. They just want now. They're greedy. They don't want to work for anything. So they don't really care what people like you had to do. Do you know what I mean? Trials, tribulations of just getting to a game, the cost, the effort, the absolute everything, the sacrifices. They don't care because they just want to take a selfie beyond the stadium and spend 500 quid in the club store, don't they?
The thing is, mate, I think speaking to people I of my age, right, that still do go. I mean, I was up in Hendon last week at a birthday party of an old mucker. He's a bit older than me, probably 9 years older than me, but you know, I'd got to know him at Highbury over the years and whatever. He was a bit of a naughty boy, I won't lie, but you know, back in the day. But he says, you know, it's all changed because, as he would say, that a lot of these people you get at the Emirates now, they've never been to an away game. They go to the Emirates, right, have their £24 baguette, yeah, with chips, right, drink the expensive pints of beer, which I think is shit anyway.
They're horrendous, yeah.
They've never actually been to an away game. They've never been on the journey, which I think is all part of it myself. I used to actually love it back in the days when you used to like go, God knows where, Stoke, wherever. I mean, I'd even forgotten, right? Now, somebody actually said to me, I was thinking about this today, Warren's team tool, top fella.
Yeah.
And I've done a couple of history streams on his shows. You know, he asked me Desert Island thing. He does that lovely little stream, gets people on, talks about their journey. And he said, Jez, Roker Park, you know, Sunderland or wherever. And I said, I've never been there, mate. Never been there. And he went, oh, right, fair enough. I said, I've beaten Middlesbrough, I've beaten Newcastle. And I was going through my away programs and I've got 3 boxes out there, right? And I just picked out a load of them. And bugger me, one of them is Roker Park. And I was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember it. And that's back in 1980, something or other. I thought, you know, I don't even remember going there.
You forgot more grounds than that's what I mean. You've been to so many, you forgot some of them. Yes.
I was shocked because one of the first, what I did last night on that stream, I turned all my programs upside down so I didn't know what was coming out.
Oh, nice.
The first was Brighton, their first time in Div 1, going through. And I was like, what was it? What's it called? I can't remember now. Anyway, whatever it was. Oh, their program was called the Roker Raw. And I was looking at it, I thinking, I don't even remember going there. And so I obviously did. Now,
too much, Jez, too much red wines, mate. Yeah,
must have been
couple too many.
Must have been. I mean, yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Really.
Hopefully, it won a whack to the head. Having a little bit of a pre-game scrapping, isn't it? One of the two, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, so I have to contact Warren and say, sorry, Warren, I was wrong. I have been there. I don't remember it. But hey, it is what it is, man.
Absolutely, yeah, no shock. Yeah, our dad's here, right? Evening, son. I'm going down to JD Sports tomorrow to buy a child-sized top for you in the West Ham colours. Ha ha! Thank you very much. 5'10". I know.
At least it's not fucking Tottenham.
Yeah. Do you know what? There was a lady in Tony's channel called Hammerette, I think, or something like that. And I was talking to her about it, and she was saying that she did actually have a little bet with Tottenham. And I said, look, I don't mind West Ham. That's all well and good, but the Tottenham one, that's just a bet I'd never take. Not that top. Wouldn't even risk it. Not for absolutely anything. I'd never put that shirt on there. It'd take a fucking lot. Dad finishes up by saying, sad to hear Jez are a bit down about his podcast. No history, no future. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, 100%, people were just ungrateful, selfish little pigs. And they don't appreciate anything that they've got. But, hey, what can we do? I'll move it on now because while getting into the Arsenal stuff, obviously it's a West Ham preview. I did want to sort of touch on the sport and game. I know you've done a few little bits about it, Jez, but I just thought I'd have a little chat with you. 5-1 win away. Not too bad, was it really? To be fair, it's not Rome, was it? When we absolutely demolished them. It's not, a 1-0 win at the Bernabeu. It's not Barcelona's, it's not Inter Milan's and AC Milan's at their prime, but it was still a massive win. And to be fair as well, Jez, I didn't realise this. I was having a look because my mate told me while I was in Lisbon. He said that they've their last loss was a 4-3 loss to Porto, and that was on the 3rd of August. So to be fair, they were actually on very, very, very good form. They hadn't lost until obviously then, I don't believe. I know Amarin sort of left as well, but they'd won 6-0 in the game that, he'd left. They'd won 6-0 there. We needed an emphatic win like this, didn't we, Jez? I mean, we've been absolutely stinking stadiums out, left, right and centre, haven't we, mate? We've needed this, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's put it right. That's one of Arsenal's biggest away wins in European history. So it's not anything to be sniffed at. I'm not falling for this trick that it's because Amarim's gone and all that sort of stuff. It's the same team. But at the end of the day, Arsenal played exceptionally well. Our defence absolutely bossed them. That Gyokeres, he could do nothing against Gabriel and Saliba. So we put it on them and they couldn't fight back. So, yeah, we needed it. We did need it. And let's hope it spurs us on, because the interesting thing to me, right? I mean, I just think at the moment, one of the best players we got on the park is Partey. I think he's levels at the moment. As long as he stays fit, man, he is on a different level at the moment. And I'm glad to see that. I've always rated him. I thought he's a great player. And let's be fair, even with Havertz in the team, who I said previously after last week's game, the league game, right? He seemed to slow everything down. Not in this game. It was intense. It was great football. And they had no answer. Sporting had no answer to Arsenal. And and let's hope it spurs them on for the a game tomorrow at the London City Stadium. So let's go there and absolutely bash Tottenham, West Ham again. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was nice to empty that stadium out, weren't it? At half time last year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing it, or last season rather. I definitely wouldn't mind doing it again. Do I think it's probably going to happen? No, I think we'd already maybe kicked into a little bit of form. But having said that, we just have sort of now. But I can't really see a repeat of the 6-0. But I'm certainly more confident than the Friday before that Nottingham Forest game, Jez, because I'd done a little show and it was basically about our next 10 games, all competitions, and we were playing so bad, losing. And I was just thinking to myself, where's the next win coming from? because when you keep losing and losing, your morale goes down. But it's not just the losses, Jez, and you'll know this more than anyone, mate. It's the way you're playing, you know, and you can sort of you can't take a loss, but you can deal with it if you went for the game and you just got beaten by the better team, you know. You just go, do you know what? Yeah, they were all right. But not when you're stinking the place out, not when you're losing against, you know, teams like Bournemouth and things like that. With all due respects to them, you know, come on, we need to be going there, and if we're gonna be challenging for the league, we need to be winning them games. And it's as simple as that. And we stank that place out with 11 men, let alone, you know, after little Trossard Saliba. So, you know, it's a little bit sort of frustrating in that note, but you know, we've got to start somewhere, yeah. And now look, me and you, people in this chat, there's no gaslighting here into thinking we're back, yeah, just because we've won 2 games and that's it. I've seen a lot of channels and then we're like, yeah, we're back, we're absolutely back. I'm like, all right, cool, yes, 2 real good wins, but you know, steady on now, people, steady on. You've got to start somewhere, I get it, but let's not get over ahead of ourselves, you know. And guess what as well? Mikel Arteta has to acknowledge that there's a blueprint to this team, and to get the best out of them is to, guess what? It's to bloody attack. I don't understand what more proof he sort of needs, you know. We've played defensive dross after dross after dross performance, stank the place out. We go for it, we score 8-2, you know. And there's a moment in that first half, yeah, in the second half, sorry, because the first half we were absolutely fantastic, weren't we, Jez? And then in the second half, for that 10 minutes, we conceded one and could have conceded another one. That was by design. There was no way them players come out there and went, that's all right. Then Mikel Arteta's told them to shut up shit. And they've just obviously sort of done it. And then look what happens again. We start reverting from attacking after them 10 minutes. We score another 2 and could have scored another 2. So basically, what I'm going to sort of ask you here, Jez, now leading on to our West Ham game tomorrow, mate. Now that we've finally started attacking, bud, do you think Arteta will actually go for the jugular against West Ham?
Well,
from the get-go?
Something I've been thinking about here, and this is something you might want to discuss.
Yeah.
I think you're right. When Arsenal came out that second half, it was almost like Arteta's gone, right, we're there, you know, shut it down a little bit, don't go too expansive. And then it went wrong. I actually wonder whether the team said, sod this, we're going to go and kill the game, whether you like it, Arteta, or not. We're the ones on the park, and we're going to push it, right? We're going to win this game, and they ain't going to beat us, and we're going to prove it. I don't know. That's just my theory.
I like it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've seen Arsenal in the past do it. I mean, under Wenger, you can quite clearly, we're 2-3-0 up in the first half, right? And then you can see Arteta's changing the tactic to shut it down a little bit. We can see the goal. Bolton Wanderers, right? I remember that game very well. I was there, right? 2-0 up, right? We're in contention to win the fucking league, right? And Arsenal start showboating, yeah? Bolton come back. And you can see the team thought, fuck this. We're not shutting it down. We're going for it.
Was that the game where they had that Stelios Giannakopoulos or something like that scored a couple of screamers or something for Bolton? Yeah, I'm sure it was, yeah.
That's the one. And we basically just, well, I wasn't playing, but I was watching. And basically, at the end of the day, the team went, no, fuck this Wenger. We're going for the throat. Now, to answer your question tomorrow, will we go for the jugular? I think we will. I think we will. I think the team are going to be on a high. They're going to be thinking, look, you know, we're 9 points back at the moment. Let's get sorry, not 9 points, but we're going to go for we need to get these points back.
Massively,
but unfortunately, Aaron, we've got to rely on other teams' failures. Do I think at the moment Liverpool are going to capitulate? No, I don't. Man City are in a bit of shit. So they're not looking as good as they were. But I think Wenger, fucking hell, Arteta is going to set the team up and say, you go and win it.
Yeah.
But
he's got to now, and Jez.
after the result they got at Newcastle, we got to be careful.
Oh yeah, it's sort of one of them things, in the lead up to sort of the game, and they were playing really, really, really bad. I thought, come on now, surely, we've got ourselves a couple of little wins, and then they go and pull out that performance against Newcastle. For me, that just sort of, it's just a little reminder, maybe, you're playing well now, but yeah, they've just picked up a little bit of form, just a little bit of caution, don't forget, boys, just because you've scored 8-2, 1-2-2, you're not going to go there and half-arse it and roll them over, just a nice. It might be a nice little reminder to just go, yeah, you need to be on it still, boys, to win Premier League matches, especially away from home, especially away London derbies, and especially, they've got a little bit of spite over the Declan Rice, so they'll be up for it. They'll be bang up for it and they'll want to right that wrong and all from last year or last season, sorry. So, we've got to be bang up for it. Do I expect us to win? Well, do I think we win? Yeah, I do. But we've got to turn up for it, Jez, and I just sort of thinking, which is what's in my title, the Arsenal blueprint. And by that, I sort of mean, surely now, Mikel Arteta has to sort of see, and especially even last season, you take back, we were rubbish, really, weren't we, at the start of last season, pretty much for the first half. And then look what happened. We started playing really good football, blowing teams away, clawed ourselves into the title race again. And it's sort of almost the same sort of happening this season. We've stanked all the places out. We've realised, it's not kind of working. We've got found out very quickly. All of a sudden, we've started attacking and we're blowing teams away again. This has to be the blueprint now. We have to go there tomorrow, regardless of whatever happens, obviously with the Man City game being a little bit later, we need to do our job there. And that starts from the minute that ref blows that whistle and you cross that line. They need to be on it. There can't be no stupid little passing. I don't want to see, we'll get into the lineups in a sec. I don't want to see all sideways passing from the midfielders. I want to see attacking, Jez. It's an entertainment business, isn't it, at the end of the day, bud? And we've been spoilt over the years as Arsenal fans, maybe not with trophies, but we've always seen pretty much good football. This is not good football. Oh, minus the last two games, obviously, Jez. I just hope, that we can sort of go in there and attack. And I was going to ask you a prediction sort of the end, but I want to sort of get it now. If we go there and attack, Jez, what do you reckon the score will be if we're on it, regardless of whether West Ham are or not?
If we go and basically put it on them, big up, I reckon we could win that 3-0. Our defence is looking pretty solid again, and I think they'll have great difficulty breaking our defence down, to be fair. It's not going to be like last year. We know that. We know it's not going to be like that. They're going to be cautious. They're going to be... They're going to want revenge. We know that. And so we've got to be careful. But I think we've just got a little bit too much more in our locker that we can actually get that result. And I'm going to say prediction 3-0.
Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously if, we go there with the same sort of intent as how we have sort of been, I'd probably side with you there. Maybe a little cheeky 3-1, depending on whether Gabriel is a plan or not. We'll get into that. Because he's had a little knock, hasn't he? But, you never know whether Arteta's playing mind games. I digress. We'll get into that. But, yeah, I thought 2-1, if it's a so-so game, a bit more of a battle, a bit more of how they want it to go. If we turn up, I reckon we could put 3 past them. Absolutely, 100%. Talking sort of about the defence, like you said, it's nice when it's a little bit settled. And if I don't know if you've heard about the Gabriel injury, it probably is just Mikel Arteta playing little mind games, Jez. He come off, didn't he, against Sporting Lisbon? Hopefully just a run-of-the-mill sort of check. I think he said in his press conference, earlier that they'll have to wait and see. What he does, Arteta. If he's not to play, what would you do with regards to that left-sided centre back, and then of course the left back? Because you obviously then would you move Calafiori over, Kivior, Zinchenko, Tierney? Okay, now.
Well, hello. It's obvious to me. We've got a certain player called Tierney, one of the best left backs that was at the time. Right, he's fit, he's available. Stick him.
He was going to say that,
Stick him there. Right, we've got cauliflower. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't particularly rate him just yet. But
Yeah.
we have got the option there, people. Personally, if you want my honest opinion on Gabriel, I think he'll be fine. I think you'll see him there. I think Arteta's learnt that sometimes you have to do the Alex Ferguson type situation, play the old mind games, the Mourinho, the great Mourinho mind games against Wenger. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if you see Gabriel there starting.
Yeah, because what I don't want to see, Jez, and we've seen Arteta do this time and time and time again, and he's done it with Odegaard. One player gets injured, i.e., let's just say for argument's sake, Gabriel. Then all of a sudden we're putting Timber at left back, we're putting Kivior at left side of centre back. We're for some reason putting Partey fucking right back. Then we're moving Jorginho in there, and it's almost just like a Rubik's cube. We're just moving all these players around to just sort of compensate for one injury, and he's done that with the Odegaard, and he's done it a lot of times. I'm sort of with you. Would love to see Kieran Tierney back in there if he's ready. I don't know. But I thought he was going to sort of say that.
He was on the bench the other night. He travelled with the squad. He was on the bench, so he's obviously fit. I'm not saying he's probably 100% match fit.
Yeah.
But if we need a backup left back to move a player across, then he's the man for me.
Well, he's the best left back at the club by a mile, I reckon. Yeah, by a good old mile. Yeah, mate. Well, absolutely 100%. So obviously, that's the sort of defence sorted. If Ray is obviously going to be in goal, Saliba, based on him not making any silly nonsense decisions, you'll have Timber there, you'll have Calafiori at left back, and obviously Gabriel or whoever. So the midfield, do you reckon he's going to go with Mourinho, or do you reckon he's going to go with Declan Rice for this one? Given obviously that Rice has still maybe got that injury lingering.
I don't know. If you want my honest opinion on that one, I think it'd be stupid to risk Rice at this point in time. I don't think we need to do that. I think it'd be a stupid move, if you want my honest opinion. Don't need to do it. It worked the other night. Yeah, it did work the other night. And leave it. Don't mess it about. That team worked brilliantly the other night away at Sporting, so don't change it. Just go with what you got. If it's all working and it's all firing and everybody's happy, go with it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And the thing is with Mourinho, I wanted to sort of touch on him. I've not been overly impressed with him, if I'm being honest with you. Now, look, I know, he's coming from a new country, but he's been in England before. He's getting sort of on. You have to adjust maybe to Mikel's rigorous tactics that he loves to drill into him. But to be fair, at 35 million and 1 year left on his deal, I expected him to come in and do a little bit more, Jez. He looks like he's not really at the same level with the other players. Like I see maybe where he'd be playing a pass where he'd know one of his Sociedad or Spanish sort of international mates would be running. He's making sort of stray passes. We sort of can't really afford players like this, can we, in our squad, that we've signed as our major signings in the summer, the 10 out of 10 window, that one. We can't really be affording to wait for these sort of players. Calafiori, like you said, I wanted to nudge on him because you quite rightly said, he's not really ready yet. He's not there just yet. And to be fair, it's easy to forget he's young. Not a lot of Italians leave Italy anyway, let alone, young sort of Italians. So fair dues to him. He's got a bit about him. But also, we don't really need that, do we? We needed someone to come in at left back and nail it, make it their own, stay fit, job done. And it's sort of the same with that left-sided midfield. I don't know if you agree with me about Mourinho. What do you reckon on him in his start to his Arsenal career?
Yeah, I was hoping a little bit more. He did all right. I mean, I'm not going to, slag him off about it. I think to my mind, more game time he gets, the more he'll settle, and he'll settle in with the gameplay in the midfield there. So I'd go with him. I'd go with him. I don't see any need to change it up. I don't. I'll be very annoyed if I see Declan Rice starting.
Yeah, it's it's sort of one of them games where Mikel Arteta never really shows he's that complete manager, is it? You know, because you'll see the likes of a Mourinho in the days, you know, your Wenger's, you know, more sort of Pep Guardiola's excellent at it. He will just go, all right, well, yeah, you had a good game, Rice, or whatever. I know it's a big, massive, you know, a passionate sort of game for you, but no, you know, you're sitting out. Arteta always shies away from these sort of big decisions, ain't he? And he just goes with the same sort of thing over and over. So I probably wouldn't be too surprised to see him, but I'm sort of leaning with you in that, you know, if he's got that little bit of an injury and you're coming into a really busy part of the year now where, you know, it's Christmas time, you know, the fixtures are piling on. We've obviously got the, what's it called, the Carling Cup still. We might even get through. We should do to the semis. That's another 2 legs. We can't be dealing with a Declan Rice 2-month toe injury, can we, you know?
No.
Just be sensible about it. But as you know, Jez, you know, you've watched Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, as have I, and he don't really make sensible decisions like that, does he? Look at the Ben White. We're all wondering why his plans are bad, and Mikel Arteta's coming out in interviews and he's going, you know, well, we were just waiting to see if it would get any better. Well, you know he needs surgery and you're bloody playing him every week, Mikel. What do you think's going to happen? He needs surgery and you're running him ragged. Remember when Thomas Partey was absolutely knackered against Spurs and he just lobbed him back on?
Back on, yeah.
And you're wondering why he's breaking down, you know? He's not very good with things like that, Mikel, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him. But no, I'm absolutely with you with that as well. So the left-hand side, Jez, another little conundrum. Do you go with Trossard, who got his goal again, wasn't very happy about getting his goal either again, no celebration, or do you go with Martinelli, who also scored? Who would you start on that left-hand side?
Look, this is what we want, right? This is what we want. We got 2 players can go down that left and can actually score goals.
Yeah,
right? I'm glad to see Martinelli get the goal. I am. I hope that boosts his confidence a little bit. And I'm also happy that Trossard. It is weird. There's no celebration from Trossard. It is a weird one, this. So what is going on there right now? Interesting. I'm sure we've all got our views and theories on it. I'm not a great theorist, but I've got my own view on it, what's going down there. But it's a nice conundrum to be in, isn't it? We've got Martinelli. Who are we going to start then? Who are we going to start? You know, Arteta's probably sitting there. He's probably made his decision already. But unless somebody breaks down in the pre-game warm-up, he's probably already made the decision. And I personally think it will be Martinelli.
Yeah. We're in absolute agreement with that. I reckon we've sort of found out a lot about where he was going to go when we see the Nottingham Forest lineup, I think. You know, he didn't make loads of changes, but, you know, he made some surprising changes, to be fair, on that day when I got to the Emirates. And I see that Jesus was starting. That was the biggest sort of one of all. Then I sort of thought, you know, he's probably saving the Havertzes and the Martinellis and, you know, all of them sort of players, maybe for the obviously the Tuesday game. And considering how well they played, it's sort of almost hard to drop some of them then, isn't it? You know, if you go and win 5-1 away and you've still got energy in your legs, how can you drop them, you know? But yeah, I'm absolutely with you. So obviously up front, that brings me nicely. And this is obviously the easy one. I know exactly what you're going to say, mate. Jesus or Havertz? I mean, none of them ideally, mate, but...
I'm sorry, mate, but it's got to be Havertz for me. Jesus is just a waste of space. Absolute waste of space. He spends more time moaning, sat on his arse than anything else. So, and Havertz does nick the odd goal. So I'm taking Havertz all day long. Yeah, I'm not a Havertz advocate, right? But out of the 2, I'm sorry, mate, it's Havertz for me. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Again, with full house, mate. Yeah, I'm in total agreement. Do you know what as well? And I wanted to touch on Gabriel Jesus because I was at the Emirates watching that Nottingham Forest game, mate. And at times, you know, it's one of the good things about when you go to the game live. You know, you can focus on individuals. You can focus on some things that you don't have the opportunity to on the telly, obviously, because of the cameras. And I was watching him, not by, you know, I wasn't going there to do it. I was just sort of noticing some things. I'm like, he's been a little bit lazy today. And then I started focusing on it. He was walking around, couldn't be bothered, just throwing his arms up in the air. Nothing, absolutely nothing like, you know, the fella that we signed 2.5 sort of years ago, full of absolute beans, running around all over the place. He couldn't beat his man, Jez, against Nottingham Forest. He looked like a 60-a-day Marlboro smoker. You know what I mean? Just puffing, just plodding along, walking there, coughing his guts out. And I just looked at the matey next to me. I went, he's finished, he is. I don't know if he's totally finished as a football player, Gabriel Jesus, but as an Arsenal player, he is absolutely finished. And, you know, it's a shame because there was sort of a player in there, never a goal scorer, but a really good talent in there. And I mean, we haven't seen it for a long time, Jez. And do you know what solidifies that? That his last league goal was against Nottingham Forest in January, 10 months ago. Since then, he has took 10.25 net off of Arsenal. We've paid the geezer 10 million quid to not score a goal in a year. Come on.
Status, isn't it? I mean, let's put it right.
He's making Nketiah look like R9 for crying out loud. That's how bad he is. You know what I mean? I'm
sorry, but Jesus, mate, you've got to go in January. You're not the levels we need. Let's just, well, Edu's gone, so maybe we'll get a decent amount of money for him rather than just spinning him off for nothing. But I'm sorry, your time's done. And Arsenal have to be ruthless and say, sorry, mate, we've done it with better players than Jesus. We've done it with better players. And we just haven't renewed. Said, like, at the end of the day, do you remember what happened with Adebayor?
I do. Right? What Man City
said, I'm selling you.
Yeah.
I'm selling you. And, I mean, hello? That guy just scored a bag load of goals the season before, and you're selling him off. Yeah, I mean, I know that's different days, but
he was a good signing and all. To be fair, Adebayor was 6 million from Monaco, was he? Something like that, was it? And real good signing.
So I'm sorry, Jesus, your time's done, mate. You need to move on. You haven't really ripped up trees at Arsenal. To be fair, I mean, come on, he admitted himself he's not a natural goal scorer. Why the hell did we buy him then? That's what we bought him for, wasn't it?
And we put the number 9 on his back. Give him 17 or 19 if he's obsessed with the number 9. Do you know what I mean? What have we given the number 9 for? And he's going, do you know what? I'm on 265 grand a year, but when it comes to me being in front of goal, I am pretty shit. But thanks for the money anyway, Arsenal. I probably won't score. I probably won't score this year. Thank you very much. But the problem is, you know, I remember when we come out this, even Gazidis and Arsene Wenger sort of thing, where we was like, you know, there's going to be no more of this contract nonsense. And to be fair, we haven't, to my knowledge, let a big player sort of go for free. The last of them being, you know, basically the Sanchez. I know it was a swap deal, but it was a joke. You know, the players running their deals down, basically. But what we have done is got ourselves in the same similar stupid nonsense of the Mustafis and the Kolasinacs, etc., where we've given absolute basement players astronomical wages again. Apart from Saudi, who in Europe not only is going to pay a transfer fee for Gabriel Jesus, but that's going to pay him anywhere near £265,000 a week.
He'll go to Saudi, mate.
He's got to.
He'll go to Saudi. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, when we had Ozil, right, and he just down tools basically, and we let him go. Well, we ripped his contract up, didn't we? And fair play, the guy, right, it was on the wall. Obviously, didn't get on with Arteta and that lot. So he just said, "Fuck you lot! I'm getting 300 bags a week. I don't care."
Yeah. I think he was on, him and Aubameyang, I think they were on 300, 350. I think they were on top end of that 300s and all. I mean, they're very, very wealthy men. But look what happened, you know, we just haven't learned from that. I thought we was finished sort of with that stage, and now I'm sat there looking, and, you know, Lee does a sort of something where he says, you know, I think there's like only 4 that aren't on 100 grand a week. You've got the likes of Zinchenko sat on 150 grand on the bench doing absolutely what? You know,
he's another one. I honestly think Arteta, right, has had enough of Zinchenko.
Yeah.
I think the problem we see, well, it's not a problem. It can be a problem with some players. I've said this for quite a few months now, right? Arteta is a narcissist. He's very arrogant, right? And if you don't agree with what he says, then you're done. And I think that's what we're seeing with some of these players, that they said, no, fuck you. I don't agree with what you're telling me. And it's then, well, okay, if you don't want to agree with me, sit on the bench, whatever, or don't even get in the squad, because what winds me up about this, we're fortunate in that Arsenal, don't fall for the lies. Arsenal are a very rich club. There's more money there than people realise. And at the end of the day, if Arsenal weren't a rich club, then how come we'll hold on to players, paying them big bags, right, and don't bother to offload them?
I know.
No, I'm sorry, that's not how a small business works. A big business can say, well, fuck you, you can sit over there. That project hasn't worked, boys. Yeah, we invested 50 million in that project over there, but that technology, I mean, I'm talking about whatever industry. Yeah, it didn't work, boys. Just put it out the back, and we'll scrap it later. We tried it, it didn't work, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. What we do is just cripple ourselves. That's exactly what we do. And we're like, oh, well, we can't afford anything now. Well, why can't you afford anything now? Why have you gave Mustafi times 10 in that squad? Because that squad was just full of them, wasn't it? Full of aging, useless, absolute dross of players that we actually paid significant transfer fees for, and we had to pay them to leave. I mean, and I just don't want it to sort of get that now. I know the transfers have got a little bit better, but, it is, again, who's going to buy Jesus? Only Saudi. If they don't want him, he's stuck with us for another 2.5 years on 265 grand a week. The same with Havertz. We've got two geezers sat there on, 5,500 grand a week, Jez. 2 million a month, 25 million quid a year between them. And what are they doing?
Football has got to be the only industry, right, where you can earn a fortune and be shit every week, right, and still get away with it. You don't. Yeah. I mean, I used to, years ago, I was massive into Formula One. I used to love it. Now I find it boring, right? And you used to see drivers changing around teams all the time, apart from the big boys like Senna and Schumacher and Damon Hill and all that lot. They'd move around because you get the big teams like Williams, Ferrari, all that lot, and they'd say, "Nah, you ain't good enough, mate. We'll get somebody else in and we'll shunt you off to Honda or a team like that." Football, you can fail at your job every single week and still earn a bloody fortune.
And the only go on, sorry to cut you.
Oh, no, that's it. I'm finished.
The only people that try and make an exception to sort of that are the very successful football clubs like Real Madrid, who will just and then even the Chelsea, sort of Abramovich's Chelsea, just cutthroat winners. There's not anything in that at Arsenal. These Cronkies, and I won't go on about the Cronkies too much, but they're nothing like an Abramovich. They don't want to win. They don't care. And they told us, Jez. That's what I don't understand. The Arsenal fans are nowadays wondering, all these Arsenal Cronkies, they're so giddy about him. Josh, look at his lovely little beard. These are the same geezers that come here and said, we ain't even here to win trophies, mate. Couldn't give a toss about them. Just want your money. How mad is that? But yeah, they love it. It's but that's absolute madness.
That is where the Arsenal fans have lost their way. Because years and years and years ago, if that owner, the Cronkies, had come in and said, we haven't bought our Stan Kroenke, we haven't bought Arsenal to win trophies. The Arsenal fan base, if that had been the 80s or 90s, they'd have gone fucking mental. There'd have been protests outside Highbury, outside the East Stand. There'd have been up down Avenel Road where I used to live. And it's like, they wouldn't have that. They'd be going fucking mental. I was at the protest when we went up to Islington Town Hall to get rid of Terry Neal. Now, Terry Neal, right? Ex player of Arsenal, manager, got us to 3 cup finals. We won 1, fair enough. But he got to 3 cup finals on the bounce.
Consecutive, was it? Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
You know, and it all started after the year after we beat Man United, then lost to West Ham. You know what I mean? We then finished 4th, 1980, and then at the end of the day, there was a massive protest started outside the West Stand and North Bank, and the fans were walking up to Islington Town Hall, get him out. He was sacked within 5 days. Dennis Hillwood, David Dean, and the other guy, I can never think his bleeding name. That was it. Board meeting, you're sacked.
Well, no. So Chips Keswick was way too late for that, wasn't he? I'm trying to think of other.
Oh, Chips.
He was way too. I'm sure he wasn't that era. I think he came a little bit late, did he? So Chips Keswick.
Yeah, he was around, but he wasn't a director.
Yeah.
Chips, what's his name? Can't think his fucking name now. Lady, what's it was there. She was one of the first to sell her shares to the Cronkies. But anyway, move on, because at the end of the day, that's when the Arsenal fans had a voice. If we weren't, if weren't happy, it would be said. You know, I can remember many games when Arsenal have been absolutely shit, and we've actually booed them off the park. In the Wenger days, right? I can remember Thierry Henry, legend of the football club. Arsenal had just lost to Man United at home. He's walked down to the North Bank, clapping the North Bank, and there was Robert Pires and a couple of others there doing it like that, and they're getting booed.
Yeah, not good enough.
Booed. Yeah, they're just going, "You're fucking shit. You ain't good enough. You're fucking shit. You ain't good enough." Now, you know, the North Bank's sitting there singing that, right, to Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, right? They gave it to him saying, "You're fucking shit. You ain't good enough. You're fucking shit." Sorry to keep swearing.
No, you're all good.
That's how it was back then, right? That's how it was back in the early, late 90s, thousands to early 2000s.
You think as well, Jez, that's not just 2 of Arsenal's greatest ever players. At that time, they're 2 of the world's greatest players.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not just if they're you know, there are babies at the Arsenal. You know, you're talking Bobby Pires, you know, probably around, give or take a year, 2002, was probably the best sided left midfielder, I think, in the world. He was one of the best players on the planet that year, and it was such a shame. Him and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst got long-term injuries, didn't they, in the second half? Or he was unplayable, and by far probably the best sided left midfielder in them years, 100%. So we're not just talking about, you know, like I said, you know, your favourite players at the Arsenal. You're talking about some absolute galactic level fucking players. Do you know what I mean? And we weren't happy with it. Now you can have these average players pulling out 4s and 5s and 6s, and they're clapped. You know, women are throwing knickers at them. Even the men are lobbing their boxers at them. Do you know what I mean? And applauding. What's going on?
You still go, right? You go to the Emirates. You got your ticket, right? You tell me the last time at the Emirates you've heard the fan base go and sing or point at players when they're coming around clapping and all that. But you're fucking shit. You're not good enough. You're fucking shit. You're not good enough. I've never seen it.
Nah. I've been sat in that seat for 5 years, and I've never seen anything anywhere near remote as thingy as that. Never. Yeah. I just haven't. There's no accountability, and that's usually why I get some looks. And it's died down now. When I first obviously got the seat, you know, people that were looking thinking, Jesus Christ, who's this geezer? I was like, well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm pissed off at watching us be 8th. That's who this geezer is. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here quiet and just happily go about my day watching us be shit week after week. But obviously, you get to know people, didn't you? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's that geezer. I'm probably one of the only people that has a shout at them. I can't have it. I don't like it when Odegaard does this stupid little thing, like he needs to go in the window bus. You know what I mean? Then window lickers bus. He does all that with his snot on his nut, And then he does all of this with his hands. I'm thinking, is he having a fit or something? It drives me mad. It does. He does it every 5 minutes, Jez. So I think, why don't you just concentrate on the game of football rather than just like trying to rev yourself up for something like he's trying to take off? It's just not for me. And obviously, clearly for, it's not for you either. There's no accountability in there anymore. And the thing is we all know this. You don't have to be a Arteta in, Arteta out, top gooner, toxic negative ones that we are apparently, to know that without us, without our money, that's just 11 knobheads kicking the ball around against another 11 knobheads. That's all it is.
True.
It don't matter whether you're Lionel Messi. If no one's there watching you, you ain't got no sponsorship. Who gives a toss whether you're the best player in the world? You're just an idiot kicking a ball around. No one gives a fuck about. We're the ones, but the problem is we'll never be able to vote in our feet because the bubble of delusion that Mikel Arteta's created is so ingrained now in all these stupid, naive youngsters, Gen Z, idiot, moron generation. They're the most manipulating, stupid spazzes ever. They've got their claws in them, and that's that. It's a look. They're all hypnotized, and it will never happen. Like protesting or anything like that again. There's too many people, too many fans that are absolutely far gone. I reckon if Mikel Arteta finished potless and 8th again this season, they'll go, oh well, we'll go again next season.
Cool.
I had one gentleman, I won't name him, just so he said in one of the channels I watched, and it was a little while ago. He's like, how long do you carry on waiting for the Arsenal success? As long as it takes. What do you mean, as long as it takes? What, you just keep happily supporting? No, you are just accepting failure every single fucking year until it finally comes your way that you're successful, or you demand it. What? I just couldn't believe my ears when I heard this particular person say that.
That guy, on Sky, on AFTV, little Ty, right? A couple of weeks ago, old Robbie was interviewing him. He said, "Well, if he doesn't win anything this year, Arteta, do we sack him? No. What about next year? If he doesn't win anything, do you sack him? No. What about 3 years' time? No. What about 5 years' time? No." I mean, that's fucking pure and utter bullshit, man. I can't believe that has all got to be scripted. I'm sorry. I think a lot of things that are said in that channel are scripted.
Mate, it's not EastEnders, mate. It's Northenders there, mate. Honestly, it is just a little soap opera, isn't it? Like, that's what it is. And do you know what? Like, I don't really like soap operas. I couldn't give a toss about them. I definitely don't want to watch them in my telly. I don't want to go and watch one when I'm going to the Arsenal or when I'm watching people in my free time. I don't want a soap opera. I don't want drama. I just want to go see a game of football where we're not shit and I'm not surrounded by morons and I can talk to someone and have a half decent conversation and leave the stadium happy. And then at the end of the season, buzzing, wicked, won something, go down the boozer, take the piss out my mates because their team didn't win anything. Like, all right, we've won a few FA sort of cups and all of that, but a lot of my mates are Man United fans, etc. Some of them are Liverpool. What can you really? I know we won a few FA Cups, but we can't really brag to them without winning a league title. Can't say nothing to Liverpool because they've completed the set. Can't say nothing to Chelsea because they've completed the set. I want to be able to go back down the booth and just have a little laugh at some other team's expense. Do you know what I mean? But we're not. But that's all right, Jez. That's fine, because next year will be our year. Next summer will be the year. That when it will be. That's what they all tell themselves. Next summer. Fucking look, Ronan Keating song, isn't it? When fucking tomorrow never comes. It was just an endless cycle unless you demand it. But the fans are just happy with how it is. And do you know what? We've already got owners that are happy where they are getting the Champions League football. So where does it progress if you've got owners that couldn't give a fuck about winning and accept this 4th place mediocrity, and you've got the fan base that are clapping it? Well, where'd you do? And the minority like us that are speaking about it are so undernumbered. It's sort of mad where the club's sort of gone, and it's probably even more surreal for you considering you've seen so many generations of the sort of club. Is asking you this off the cuff, is this one of the worst generations in terms of fans, the way football is now? Is this the worst you've seen ever?
Absolutely. Never seen anything like it. Unfortunately, mate.
Madness.
Unfortunately, it's not because they're fans. They're what I call day trippers. They are pure day trippers. Right, here's something for you. Right,
Go on, mate.
a mate of mine who's he's proper Man City. He's a proper mank, proper. And he sent me this thing from Man City at home, and it was a group of fellas, 4 of them from abroad, right? And they walked out the Man City shop at the game with bags of stuff they'd bought, right? Bags of it, yeah. Following week, on the camera, with the same 4 at fucking Man United with bags and bags and bags. There you go.
Yeah. Madness.
They're just day trippers. That's all they are. Like, these fellas had come from wherever they come from abroad, yeah. Loads and loads of money. Good luck to them. Well done, right? Bought their shit, souvenirs, whatever you want to call it, and then probably got home by now, right? And they can sit there, wax lyrical. Oh, I bought this shirt at Man City. I bought this. I bought that. I bought this at Man United. Hello, these are 2 biggest opposition teams in fucking in Manchester. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And this is what it is, man.
Unbelievable.
This is where it is. This is what is at Arsenal now. You got the people who will turn up. I told you the story. I think I may have told you this story. The last year of my season ticket at the Emirates, 2016, right? We're at home. Can't remember who we played. And I'm in the North Bank where with a load of people I used to go to games with for years. And we're having a good old giggle. We'd had a few drinks and we're having a right old giggle. And we're a bit loud like you do before the game started.
Yeah, as you do.
And we were having a little bit of a sing-song and all this sort of shit. And I got a tap on the shoulder, right, from somebody behind me. I thought, oh, who's this? Looked around. I thought, who's this? I know. And it was this woman.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, all right. And she went, very, very, very well-spoken lady. And she went, excuse me. Yeah, I said, yeah. She said, could you keep the swearing down? I've got my 2 children here. And I looked at her, right? I just looked at her, gave her the Jez look. And I went, are you having a fucking laugh? I said, this is a fucking football match. What do you think you're going to hear? I said, you're not at the fucking point-to-point horse.
You're not on the opera, love.
Yeah. I said, you better jog on, babes. And she was like, got up. Right? She got up, walked across, up the steps, got a steward, right?
Oh, job's worth.
And his steward come down and he just came down. He went, all right, boys. I went, all right, John. He went, all right, Jez. He said, what's up? I said, I don't know, mate. He said, well, we've had a complaint about you swearing. I said, unlucky, John. It's happening, isn't it? It's what it is, son. And he went, walked off.
All right, mate. Yeah. Do you know what they do now, though, Jez? And they would have still had it. So, did you say you stopped going in 2016 or give up your season ticket there or thereabouts on it?
End of the season, mate, I gave it up.
Yeah. So you'd have seen that they've got all the numbers. Like, I think it's something like see it, something, report it, or whatever. Oh, mate, like you'd have had about 50 or 60 of them going. Do you know what I mean? When people's got their phones out now, honestly, it ain't to check all the football results now. It's just to stitch people up. Oh, they said the word crap. Oh, there's a problem over here. What's going on here? And it's like that. I've been told to quieten down, and I called someone. I'd stop calling people certain words. I won't repeat it on air, shouting out loud. And I've swapped it over to rat and pig, because might not be the nicest words, the C's and the F's and all of that. And I still got complaints. I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Like, absolutely sod you. You are at a game of football, unfortunately. A very passionate, largely, no disrespect to any women watching this chat, but it's largely a male working class sport.
But you say that, mate, I can remember my day, 70s, 80s and 90s, right? Jesus Christ, I used to be at games with women who swear more than me. honestly, I'd swear down, right? Yeah, they would swear more than I'd be at games. I remember when we went to Everton one game, Everton away, right? Arsenal were losing, and I was there. I knew they were by just to say hello to at the ground. Didn't really know their names. And these three, they'd obviously be on the gins, whatever, before the game, right? And they were going mental, and I'm like, whoa, wouldn't want to go out to them tonight. You know what I mean? They were proper on it, and they were giving it all the big large, seriously big large. See you next Tuesday, you fucking useless. La la la, you little trick. You know, all this. I'm like, whoa.
Take it home, wake up next to it, and the second she opens her eyes, she's fucking complaining at you and shouting at you. Yeah, maybe not, love. Yeah, I'll swerve you, sweetheart. I think. Yeah, absolutely, 100, mate. I'm just gonna come to the chat just very quickly. You said it though, Aaron. This squad, I've had the same results, if not worse than Emery's squad. Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, you take away the. I don't want to get into the sort of conversation about the Emery squad, FA Cup, and sort of things, but. Mate, it's been a failure. You have to weigh up sort of everything, really, didn't you, in terms of the squad? And that Emery only got, what was it, a year and a half, I think, and he didn't get a lot of money to spend, and he's definitely didn't get the players that he wanted. We all know about, the Zaha, and he got Pepe sort of instead, and that wouldn't have changed our fortunes because it's not Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime, but it would have changed maybe somewhat the fortunes of sort of Arsenal in terms of maybe getting fourth that year, and then who knows that year. I do agree with you in that sort of sense. When you have to weigh up how long Mikel Arteta's had, all these phases, this nonsense, the crap now we have to receive that weren't even there under the Emery sort of days, and the fact that he ain't won anything in 4.5 years with 800 odd so million, or just under 800 million. When you factor that in, it's been, I reckon, worse than Emery's tenure, to be fair. And that's sort of, I think, almost an inarguable fact. This kid's been given 3 times as long with 5 times more amount to spend. And he, apart from the first sort of season, ain't even got to a final or anything. Got to a semi-final, did he? Liverpool? I think we drew 0-0. Xhaka got red carded, but we held on, and then they took the piss out of us at the home leg. Never really going to win that cup. But no, I'm totally in agreement with you, mate. Just want to say hello as well, Michael, Chelsea fan. Big up, mate. Zinchenko, is he even a footballer these days? I don't know what he is, mate, but he's probably not going to be an Arsenal player that long, because as Jez sort of quite rightly said earlier, he's there's some sort of falling out that sort of happened there between them, and I don't know why he's never actually really, while we're on sort of the Zinchenko thing, just been given a little chance in midfield. I don't think, have we actually seen him sort of play there, other than when he obviously inverts from left back? Have we actually seen matches where he's started in a midfield in the Premier League since he's been there, or in any comp? I don't think so.
No, right at the beginning, when he first
was he?
Arsenal, he did play in midfield.
Did he? That's
he played out left. When he very first came to the Arsenal, he played out on the left wing.
Well, I'll take your knowledge over it. Yeah, I sort of hadn't sort of realised. Darren Sullivan saying, I see you. As soon as Pires was one of my favourite players, and whilst I only played at centre back when I was younger, but I was always very, very, very quick, and I weren't too bad with the ball either, which is why I got put out to the wing, to the right wing back. Sorry. And I used to love basing my game on like Robert Pires when he was attacking, just how he moved and things like that. He was unbelievable, weren't he, mate? It was outstanding. You never knew what he was doing next. Quick ball player, free kicks, goals against Tottenham and Liverpool. Do you remember that you're saying about quick feet? And when you say about Pires and quick feet, I always think about that 5-4 at White Hart Lane, where I think it might have been the 3rd or 4th goal, maybe. I think, did Fabregas do a reverse pass to him on the left-hand side, and he quickly shimmied the ball over to his left and then put it underneath the keeper? Absolutely unbelievable goal by Robert Pires. Yeah, the feat was just absolutely amazing. And like I said, in 2002, he was virtually unplayable and one of the best in the world at the time. SG, how you doing, my man? I think Thierry Henry said in an article that the booing build up his career character, and mentality. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's where you find out who you are sometimes, though, isn't it? You know, when you sort of think, you know, oh, they're going to come and give me a little bit of love. And, you know what I mean? You get a little bit hate. What are you going to do? You're going to cry, or you're going to make sure they clap you next time? Where's your mentality?
Exactly.
Don't be a little bitch. And you know what? That generation weren't little bitches, were they, Jez? They were men. They were proper men. You could probably say that for maybe 5% of this squad. You know, Tierney's probably got a bit about him. You know, Declan Rice has got something about him. But Gabriel, you know, he can probably hold his own, fair dues. But, you know, you start struggling from sort of then on. You go to the Odegaards, who's your captains. I've heard some people, Jez, listen to this for an absolute shower of shit of a take, saying that he's one of the best Arsenal captains we've ever had. I couldn't believe it. I nearly fell off the fucking bar stool, Jez. Honestly, mate. My missus don't care about football. Mate. Yeah.
That Rory talks bollocks, right? On Dan Potts. Was it Dan Potts? I can't remember who it was now. He's the best in the world. Best in the world.
Might have been a clip then. I don't know. It might have been him then. Like I say, I don't know. But I couldn't believe my missus couldn't give a toss about football, Jez. Yeah? And I even said to her when I listened to it, I was like, you know, when you forget who you're talking to, I was like, babe, this geezer's just said that Odegaard's one of the best. She's like, who's Odegaard? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot I'm talking to you and you don't give a toss. I just couldn't believe it. Like that's one of the wildest takes I've ever heard in my life. Like almost people when they say Fabregas was a good captain. I'm sorry, I don't think he was a shit captain, but I don't think he was a good captain. Thierry Henry, I don't think was either. To be fair, he was unbelievable, great at the time, the best player on the planet at some stages. You know, definitely the best in his position at some stages. How he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, Nedved, wanker, I'll never know. That was an absolute fix. But you know, he wasn't a good captain. Maybe it was because we were so spoilt with captains. You know, you go from Tony and Patrick for, you know, the best part 3 bloody decades. Do you know what I mean? Because Tony got it young, didn't he, in the 80s? And, you know, Patrick had it until 2005. So, you know, that sort of spanned over a long time of having real leaders, not just leaders, absolute men. Them type of players at an half time, they won't go, you feel him, don't worry, mate, you'll be all right in the second half. They're going to grab you by that and throw your head in the locker and go, if you fucking do that in the second half, mate, you will not be coming back out, mate. I can promise you that. Then I think there's in the 89 documentary to sort of say something similar. I think Lee Dixon's first North London derby, I think, or something like that. They all went up to him. I think Tony Adams did, a couple of the boys, and grabbed him up and pushed him up against the locker and said, you know who we've got today, didn't you? Yeah, you cannot be playing crap. You will not play crap. Could you imagine that nowadays, Jez? There'd probably be lawsuits.
No, what he did, he got him up against the wall.
Yeah.
And said, this is the North London derby. We don't lose.
Yeah.
And you'd be on it. That's it's in his book, Tony Adams' book.
Yeah. I knew you'd get the exact, but there or thereabouts, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, could you imagine that?
I'm not criticising you. I'm just.
No, of course not. You're just wrong, you wanker. No, yeah, you're just fucking wrong. But I knew it was obviously sort of there or thereabouts, sort of for that, you know. Could you imagine that today, Jez? Like I said, you'd have lawsuits, mate.
Oh Christ Almighty! Can you imagine it? Can you imagine that if Odegaard, right? If Odegaard turned around to one of the, like, I don't know, who could we? Oh, let's say he did that to Trossard, right? It'd be like, you know, you're right. It would be a complaint to the club. There'd be an inquiry. There'd be this. There'd be that. It's fucking bollocks, man. Seriously, man up, people.
Do you remember, like, and albeit for, like, you know, the excellent and underrated player that he was in Yaya Toure? Do you remember when he kicked off an absolute stinker about Man City not getting him a birthday cake?
Yes.
One of the years. Do you remember that? How mad is that, prima donna, man? Jeez. You think this? Man. You've got this big geezer, 6 foot something, built like a brick shit house, and he's got, where's my birthday cake and message? Come on, man. What are we doing here? That's madness. That's absolute bonkers when you actually sort of think about that. I will sort of start looking at wrapping up soon because I looked at the time. But one player I did want to mention to you is sort of Timber. He's been absolutely fantastic. recently. He's finally sort of got that right back sort of thing. He's been filling in at left back, filling in and doing his little bits. But because of the Ben White injury, obviously, it looks like he's going to really sort of stamp that down. I sort of kind of not fear for Ben White because I don't really care as competition. But if I was Ben White, I definitely wouldn't be very confident about getting my place back. Are we looking at a Ben White upgrade now?
Absolutely. I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
I think, did we bring him in to replace Ben White? I don't know. I'm no sure about that one. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty certain Ben White's sitting on those sidelines or at home or God knows where he is. And he's thinking, this is going to be a big ask. Big ask. Unless Timber gets injured, and hopefully not, it's going to be a tough call to get Ben White back in that team.
Yeah.
I like Ben White. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a class. I think he's a decent player. Don't get me wrong. He's shit as a centre back. When we first brought him in from Brighton and he was playing right centre back, I thought he was shit. I won't lie. Then he stuck him out on that right wing, and I thought, yeah, he's looked all right there. Now we've got an upgrade in the fact that Jurien Timber is a level above, and the fact he's young. Ben White's getting older, so Timber's got more pace, and I think personally, if you want my honest opinion, he's better on the ball.
I think he's a bit better at everything, Jez. If I'm being honest, I can't. Yeah. You might be able to pinpoint something else out here, but I'm looking and thinking, I'm not going out and thinking, oh yeah, but Ben White's better at him than this. Oh yeah, but Ben White is. I'm sort of looking at Tim and I'm thinking, I think all round, I just can't see where Ben White sort of gets at him.
I can't be quite honest with you. I can't. I just think Jurien Timber is a better levels all round.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'd like? I'd love to see this, but I don't think it'll happen too often. I'd love to see a back line of Tierney, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber. That to me would be one hell of a back line.
Yeah, and
I really rate Timber.
Do you know what as well is everyone's sort of saying, like the phrase Mourinho coming in and Calafiori coming in to unlock Martinelli. What about if fucking Tierney does it? Because they've had excellent link up. Yeah,
he used to overlap Martinelli all the time, right? Because Tierney had pace, right? He'd go whipping down that bloody left wing. Martinelli would be there. He'd sit back, cut inside. Tierney cross, bang bang. That works so well.
I know we don't play like that anymore, Jez, but why ain't that a good plan B? Why was that never utilised? To have sort of, instead of the inverting or, a solid sort of defensive left-sided centre-back playing on the left and the inverting on the right, why can't we just have an overlapping left side? And you've got Tierney there, excellent at it. That's the annoyance I have with I nearly said Wenger then and all. Mikel Arteta is, I think just fails to spot the obvious sometimes. When it's not working, he'll just bring on someone from the bench. It's always like for like. And it's usually because they've not started the shitter version of that same person coming on. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, all right, the player might have an exceptional game, but why don't you change things tactically rather than just, same on, same off? I would love to see Kieran Tierney and that utilised this season. I don't know whether we'll be trying to sell him or whether we're trying to angle a loan move, but I just think it's a good little asset to sort of have, that left-hand side. You might want to play Calafiori and Trossard on there one day, and that might be not working. It might be unable to unlock that defence. But what about Tierney and Martinelli? That might just go, they might be able to overlap, underlap, and absolutely destroy a certain team as a tactic. Horses for courses. But it just doesn't use things like that. And I think, well, you've got someone like Tierney who is an asset at that. It's a shame to sort of see it wasted, Jez, isn't it, mate?
I totally agree with you. Yeah. Totally agree with you. And I think this is where sometimes I do find Arteta very frustrating. If you've got the options to change it up, if you've got the players there, use them. don't be always using plan A. And unfortunately, he doesn't seem to work that way with him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just find him a bit too arrogant for my liking at times. And if you can see it, I can see it, and if 2,000 other people can see it, then there's something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, SG says one particular Arsenal fan said if Mikel Arteta is improving and competing, it's all right. And I'm thinking you're basically accepting failure. Improvement is to win trophies and not to compete. I mean, absolutely, well and truly. And this is exactly why Arsenal haven't won something in such a long time. That whole first sentence there, mate. Improving and competing is all right. Basically saying that's enough. It's not acceptable. It's not. We're Arsenal Football Club. We might not be a European successful trophy winning powerhouse, but we're a massive global worldwide team. We're the third best team in England. Let's get it right. We're not mugs. We're not Spurs. We're not muggy team like that.
Can I ask you a question? Maybe the chat can answer this. I've asked this myself so many times. Where has this mentality come from in the Arsenal fan base? Where has it come from? I'd never used to see this when I used to go regularly. I've never liked the Emirates myself personally, but that's probably because I'm selfish, because I loved Highbury. Yeah. You know, having lived right opposite the bloody ground. I don't get it. Where has it come from, people? Where is this acceptance that, oh, it's all okay? Oh, well, we'll go again. We'll go again. I don't recall this at all. Have I missed 10 years of football here?
woke up in a coma or something, and yeah,
have I been on a different fucking universe?
Unfortunately, I had an accident holiday and woke up fucking 2 decades later, and fucking all of a sudden Arsenal ain't won the league in 21 years. You'd have never thought it, would you, in 2004, that we'd be sitting here in 24 and we'd be nowhere near winning it, really. Not nowhere near, that might be a little bit harsh, but let's face it, this season, I mean, yeah, we're hardly favourites, are we? Let's get that right. Do you know what, Jez, to answer your question, I think it's a mixture of things. It's one of them where it's a mixture of things. It's that invincible side being dissembled way, way, way too fast. And you think, you know, in the space of 2 years, Paddy Vieira left 2005. Robert Pires left after, I think, that Champions League final, wasn't it? He went to Villarreal and signed on a 2-year deal because they didn't. Dennis Bergkamp retired. Henry left to Barcelona a year later. Ashley Cole went to Chelsea. Sol went AWOL, didn't he? He went a little bit loopy. Obviously, you know, he was the number one defender at the two. So once you lost Sol, Toure weren't really as much, and we got Gallas partnering. So, you know, that whole team got dissembled very, very, very fast, that winning team. Ljungberg went to West Ham, you know, because he was that sort of thing, you know. Gilberto, right, he stayed for a little bit longer, but that invincible side, I think within 2 years had been absolutely stripped to its bare guts. Because obviously the Emirates move and things like that. So then you've got the Wenger, the top 4 trophy was he probably didn't even know the impact that something like that would have. He probably just said it in jest, I don't know. But that top 4 is like a trophy. That lowered the standards significantly and people bought into it, Jez. So, you know, you've got that squad being ripped apart. You've got David Dean's leaving, who's a passionate man about Arsenal, who'd go against Wenger in the ground. You'd have Wenger accepting years of failure. You know, you'd have the change to the Emirates, selling players to Manchester City to fund it. And then you've got the Kroenkes and the Usmanov, that sort of battle. And then you've got the generational thing where the vast majority of kids coming up now are absolute fucking idiots. They're ungrateful little pricks. They are. There's so many little factors. And unfortunately, our fan base is just what's left of us it's happened. I think there's a few things. I don't know how much you agree with that, Jez, but
no, I totally agree. Mate. Totally agree.
That's how it feels like to me, man. It's a bit of a shame, but I'll get for you a couple of more of these, and then I'll let you go. I just looked at the time, Jez, so I'm really sorry about that. I looked at the time, it was 20 part, 1 hour and 20. So I will skip through this unless you needed to shoot now, mate, and I'll get through these comments myself, Jez. If you're a busy man,
well, you crack on, man. I ain't got nothing to do.
All right. Oh, sweet. Well, I just didn't want to keep us all, mate. Does up? Jog on, babes. Love it. Yeah, yeah. Jez, this year for you to cook you din-dins. Oh, go on, mate. There's nothing wrong with that. A little bit of brekkie in the morning as well, isn't it?
No,
Not too bad. No thanks. Yeah. Probably be poisoned if they were that gobby. You know what I mean? Yeah, you'll be probably shitting for a week. Michael, how you doing, my man? Soft mentality sums Arsenal up in a nutshell. What do you expect to hear in a football match? Seriously, what are we all doing here? Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, obviously that's in, to a little bit of swearing. You're going to get that. Look at the audience, You're in London, look at the audience. It's not aimed at, opera goers, is it? We're not all wearing tuxedos to it, Come on, man. Read the room, love, innit? Ridiculous. But, that's just one of them jobs worth little bitches. You'll find them anywhere. SG, I'm the only minority in my late 20s that's got a big club mentality. Fair dues to you, bruv. I know you have. If you're not winning any trophies, yeah, you can absolutely F off. Yeah, well, it's irrelevant, isn't you? Like we've said it so many times. Whilst we do remember it, not fondly of 99, 2000 and 2001, some shit seasons and some heartaches in them 3 seasons. No one cares about second place there. Everyone just remembers Manchester United running away with that, doing their 3. Who's going to remember these 3 years? If we don't win anything, obviously, of note. Who's going to remember the Arteta years where we went from 8th, 5th, 2nd, and probably 4th? Come on. You're not going to tell your grandkids, well, you're 20, late 20s. In 10, 15 years, you're not going to be going, I'll tell you what, we lived through some fantastic times in the mid-20s, when Arteta nearly won us the league maybe-ish once. Come on, man. Let's all be serious here with it. Gentlemen, what is Havertz great at? He ain't great as a midfielder or a striker. Basically, he's a non-binary player. I'll tell you what he is. He's an expensive John O'Shea. Just play him absolutely bloody anywhere, and he's probably on about fucking 10 times more than him. Aces, this is a fantastic one. Jezza, it probably must be. You probably were there, weren't you? Perez lob over Peter Schmeichel at Villa Park, and that Anfield winner, that 2-1. That was in that bright yellow 2004 top, wasn't it? Sublime finish. Was you at any of them games, Jez?
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the I'm trying to think of
the lob was 2002, I think. That 2002 or 3.
Yeah, I've got the program over there.
Oh, it's so annoying you're not doing that bloody show, because I was looking forward to getting into all of that.
No, it's there. It's over here. It's over here somewhere.
Well, legend, Jez. Let's have a little goose, man. This is what I'm saying, people. Asking for it and then not turning up, man. This geezer has just got a plethora of knowledge, man. How can you not be buzzing about this gentleman's collection here, man? All the absolute effort, blood, sweat, tears he's put into supporting that team, man.
It's over here,
and they're all in mint condition, aren't they, Jez?
Huh?
They're all in excellent condition, aren't they?
Well, that's the job I've got to do now. I've got to put them all back in their plastic sleeves.
Yeah.
I've got them in folders, man.
So I asked you yesterday, didn't I, whether you keep your favourites or all of them in sort of some form of protective sleeve, and
I can't find it. It's here somewhere. Oh, here it is. No, that's not that one.
So while you're having a little look, I'll run through some of this chat. Dad, £10 says Arteta will check his eyebrows 5 times in the first 15 minutes. Oh, 100%. Mr. Universe will. The sexiest Spaniard we know. Go on, Jezza.
No,
sorry. I thought you'd had it. Right, I'll just go through some of these. Dad, again, what we're saying. Aaron, are you paying Casey to diss me over tomorrow's game? What's he sending you a couple of texts, is he? I've been on Stream Your Sausage, That's just, it's just my son who's an Arsenal fan taking the piss out of you, a West Ham fan. There's nothing wrong with this, Dad. Come on, mate. This is how low West Ham sunk people. You know what I mean? Even my 7-year-old son's taking it upon himself to absolutely take the piss out of me, Dad. Go on, the boy. So proud of my son right now, So proud of my boy. Give Grandad some sticks on. And but how you doing, my man? Just don't pick Trossard and Martinelli in the same team. It doesn't work, in my opinion. Not a truer word said, mate. I'm telling you, yes. It just does not work at all whatsoever. It's one or the other, 100%. Vic, very good to see you. I did see you sent me an email over, mate. I was just a little bit busy today, so I'll have a little open it up, mate. But very good to see you in the chat. As always, my man, proper OG. Hello, my friend. How you doing? I've been sitting in my chat recently. Big up, fella. You're always welcome here, mate. What is it about Arteta, rather? I'll talk English properly in a second. That has ex-players who've won big trophies going gaga over him. It's very bizarre. The guy's won sweet FA Cup, but that is literally about it. And there's arguments to say sort of about that. You know, he almost done a Wenger, didn't he, in the Invincibles and gutted that team out. Technically a winning team. Gutted that team out very quickly. Spent 800 million and he ain't won anything since. And do you know what? Not only has he not won anything since, the most disgraceful thing about the whole thing is throwing the cups away. The only thing that actually, ironically, kept him in a bloody job. He throws away. Mental that, innit? Mental that. What we saying, Jez? You got a cheeky little look on your face. What we saying?
No. This was
found
the
it.
show. This was the show I was going to do Sunday night. All my FA Cup final, League Cup final programs with my tickets.
I have got time. If you wanted to burn through a couple, I don't want to put any pressure on you. If you felt like you wanted to burn through a couple, mate, you've got someone here that's willing to have a little watch, mate.
Let's have a look what we got quickly. I was going to do a whole show about this, but I ain't now. Who's this one? Let's pick this one out. Let's pick this one out. Is it this one? Can't remember now.
Big up Dow as well, mate, in the chat. Always a pleasure. I responded to you in your email. I know, obviously, the time difference and things like that, but I hope you and the family had a great day, mate.
Yeah, this one.
Big up, fellow, and all the American cousins, my mum.
That is the Arsenal Sheffield Wednesday League Cup final. FA Cup, sorry. With the ticket. With my ticket.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Look, mint condition, man. There's not even a fold in it.
No, it's not. No, I didn't in my wallet, didn't I? That's that one. The 93 FA Cup final. With my ticket. There you go. FA Cup ticket. That's that one. So people are going to miss out, mate. They wanted it, and I've binned it now. Of course, the classic Arsenal Tottenham semi-final. When was that? That was
not the 91 one loss, was it?
93. That's when Arsenal won, mate.
A winners one. I was going to say, yeah. Thank God, yeah. Not that bastard 91.
My ticket there as well.
How much was that, Jez?
The program. Oh well,
no, the ticket. Oh, and the program, both.
The ticket was £16. Bottom right, but where it says row seat 230, row 10, £16.
I don't know how to zoom in. Oh, maybe that'll be a little bit better. There we go.
16.
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Quality, man.
That was that one. That was against Spurs. And of course, the infamous fucking West Ham final. And of course, this one here.
You remember that one, wouldn't you, Dad? Yeah.
That's the FA Cup Man United 1979. Ticket there, that one.
Absolute mint, mate. I can't believe how good condition they are. I know you've always said it, but look, it's
£2.50.
Give that out. £2.50.
That was 1979.
What was the program?
50 pence. 50 pence. Unbelievable, isn't it? Of course, we got
great little bits of history, man.
Arsenal Ipswich Town lost. 1972 FA Cup final against Leeds. We lost 1-0.
Yeah,
of course, that one. And the classic
won it the year later, though, didn't we? No. What was that? 1973 was it? Sorry, you said we won it in 71, didn't we? Yeah, 72.
72 that was. And of course, the absolute classic, the 70-71 Cup final at Liverpool, Arsenal Liverpool. That's that one. And where the hell was that? Oh, there it is. There's my ticket and that was £1.
Nice.
£1.
What a bargain.
Back in the day, as a little kid, I was 11 then. I was 11 years old. That one.
And was it your grandfather that always took you, wasn't it?
Yeah, my granddad used to take me.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day. Anyway, that was the program I was going to do, but I ain't doing it now. So.
Oh man, yeah. So you give me a little teaser. You've hooked me in there. Now you're ripping it away, Jez. You fucker, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. Trouble is, mate, I had it all set up and all that and everything, and then I got a bit dejected last night about it all because I thought, fuck it, bollocks. Nobody's going to watch it. So what's the bleeding point? So anyway, there we are. Yeah.
Well, look. At least, thanks for giving us a little snippet, man. I love all things like that. But that's my cup. Absolutely, man, and more people should do too. My mind will never wrap around why people can't absolutely be absolutely 100% fucking enamored by how wicked that is. Right, let's just burn through some of these, mate. Darren, sorry, brother, I don't know what the numbers are, mate. Apologies. Dad, what you saying, mate? What we got on Arsenal mentality, Jez? They listen to shit podcasts and are scared to have a voice. The sheep, well, they are sheep, aren't they? Yeah, absolute sheep. All right, let's burn through some of these. SG Odegaard is a pretender and will never win us a trophy. Do you know what? We play better with Odegaard in the team. That is undeniable because you see the fact. But when people are going around saying he's world class, saying he's the captain to the stars, I'm sorry. We do play better with him in a minute, but can we find better than him? Absolutely, 150%. He's upgradable. Is he a captain? Nah, not properly. This don't make you a captain. This don't make you a captain running your arms around like you're going to dribble all over the place and be committed. That's not captain. Terence, Vic, I'm totally looking forward to it and honestly believe we're going to get a result. Dad, mate, I'm sorry for people who haven't, didn't see the start of the show. Me and my dad, Terence Knowles, right here, we've got a little bet on for tomorrow's game. He's a West Ham fan. If West Ham win, I will be putting one of his tops on and taking a photo of it, and I will upload it into the stream at my own expense. I'm not looking forward to that, but do you know what? I probably won't because in the end, on Sunday, if I do a little match review, I'm going to have him, old Terence, old Tekka boy. I'm going to have him in a 91 shirt, giving it a big old thumbs up. He'll absolutely love that, and I won't let him live that one down.
I'm just going. This is for Michael. Michael, the Chelsea fan in your chat.
Big up, Michael, man.
2003 FA Cup 6th round replay at Stamford Bridge. There you go. That's that one. That was the first. That was the one at Highbury. Hang on. Let me fuck about. 2 seconds. I'll get rid of this. Fuck it. It's a pain in the ass.
Oh, what? No, the green screen.
Yeah, it's a pain. You can't show anything, man. For young Michael.
We got Oz.
There you go, mate. There's the Chelsea 2003 6th round replay at Stamford Bridge, and that was the first round at Highbury, as it was back in the day. So that's that. And there's another one here somewhere. People might remember this one. Farnborough Town.
Arsenal, remember the Farnborough. Was that not? I don't know why I've got 5-1 in my head, but yeah, I actually don't really remember that. I just keep getting a little 5-1 in my head, but no, I don't really remember that, Jez. And obviously, was that when was that for the FA Cup?
2003. That was
obviously on our road to winning it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
Sorry, was that 02-03 season? Was it or 03-04? 02, yeah.
02-03.
Yeah.
That was.
So obviously, Bobby Pires, Southampton 1-0 in the final. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 02-03.
I'm disappointed with myself there.
Oxford United.
Was that Gio Van Bronckhorst there?
Yep, and of course Arsenal 1980. This one, Highfield Road, Comtry's ground. Arsenal versus Liverpool semi-final.
What year is that?
1980. That is 1980. Yeah. FA
Would you say for the vast majority of them years, Jez, You know, like you said, you've shown me some from the 70s, from the 80s, obviously. FA Cup games, would you have gone to the vast majority of them? Like, or was it sort of maybe a sporadic thing? Like, you know, if you could go to it, you could, or would you and your granddad or whoever was taking it at the time, would you always sort of aim to try and go to as many as you can?
We used to go there. Well, my latter years, mid 80s, my granddad didn't go to away games anymore, age and disability. Yeah. And 76, I had my own season ticket. So I used to go with a lot of my mates away games. So my granddad was getting a little bit old then I mean, he was born in 1906. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was that one. Bolton, FA Cup away, 1980. There's a couple of here. I'm not going to go through all of these because there's bloody hundreds of them. What we got here? Oh, yeah, European Cup Winners' Cup. There you go. That's the European Cup Winners' Cup we played. Who did we play there? Magdeburg. That was the year.
Oh, I never got that.
That was that year. Fenerbahce. I went to all of these. Juventus away. Gothenburg. Leeds United. Do you know the amount of times I went to Leeds? I was surprised last night going through them programs. The amount of times I went to Ellen Road. Jesus Christ.
What's it like, stadium? I've never been.
Ellen Road?
Yeah.
Right. It's all right. It's old. It's old and quirky. It's old and quirky. But it was all right. You have to be a bit aware of yourselves. I won't lie. Back in the day, not now. But back in the 70s, 80s, it was back how it was. You know how it was. It was a little bit mission. So you had to be a little bit careful. The main thing was you just didn't get isolated and do anything too stupid. But it was okay. But it's a very loud ground. Very, very loud. Great fan base, Leeds. Great fan base. Like Nottingham Forest. The City ground. Went there many times. Their fan base sublime, especially when they were in the great 80s, 70s, 80s. They were brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, they weren't even a bad team sort of in my sort of age when I was sort of growing up. You know, obviously I started watching the football mid to later 90s. But, you know, well, you'll know in 1999, I'll never forget it, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. You get Ellen Road. What was it? Was it a shot or a near post header? I can't quite think, but it was the second from last game of the season, I think, and he absolutely just destroyed the title away from us. I'm sure that was 99. Them sort of Leeds teams, you know, they had like players like, it was Ian Hart for my sort of generation, like growing up, Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka. They were a good side, and I think what was it? They got to against Valencia, I think, all the way into the semi-finals of the Champions League, I think, one year, didn't they? And eventually got knocked out. I think it might have been a Valencia by Leverkusen final that year or something like that. I can't quite remember. But they've always sort of been a good sort of side, haven't they, Leeds? But and they're a Premier League team, aren't they? You know, they've maybe not so much now in terms of players, but when I think of Leeds, I think of a top club. You know, not a.
Oh man, they're absolutely back in. Absolutely. I mean, some of the players they had in the early 70s, mate. Wow. Ooh, what a team. Proper team.
Bit too sort of thingy for me, obviously. But I mean, I know of them having a really good sort of team. I couldn't list you players. I wouldn't even try because you'd destroy me. But yeah, you know, I've always sort of known of them having really sort of good teams. Darren Southern, being successful in the ballot for Spurs at home. 5-1. Looking forward to that. Oh, nice one, mate. Yeah, fair dues. Just while we're on about tickets, Jez, would you ever go again, Arsenal, or are you absolutely done?
Me?
Yeah.
What, to the Emirates?
Yeah. Are you totally done, or
mate? It's too much hassle getting there. To be honest, I'll be going to Brighton away. That's easy for me. It's not far away from me. It's like under 30 miles. I go down there with a couple of Brighton guys. We have a right old good giggle. They're members, so we go in the members bar, and they don't hide it that I'm an Arsenal fan. And I have a great giggle with the people. It's a laugh. It's a banter.
Yeah.
No dramas. We just take the piss out of each other. And yeah, I always look forward to that one. That's what I take my grandson to. I will. No, bit of a lie. I will be coming to the Emirates one day because he's desperate to go and see Arsenal at the Emirates. So I will take him one day. I did say to him just pre-season, "Oh, let's go to the the Thingy Bob Cup."
Yeah, the Emirates Cup. Yeah.
And he went, "No, I want to go to a proper game."
Good lad.
Fair play.
Don't
I
mess
said,
about.
"What do you want to go and see?" And he went, "Oh, I'd love to see Arsenal Tottenham." I said, "No chance." I said, "We won't get tickets for that. Not in a million years." I said, "But so I have promised I'll take him. But I'm going to try and swerve around the Armory. But unfortunately, his mother has told him everything about the Emirates. Well, you want to go to the museum. Granddad will take you on a stadium tour, and then you can go into the Armory." And I said to Jodie, "Thank you for that. Are you paying?" And
Yeah,
she went,
it's not cheap.
She went, "No, well, you are his granddad, and you know he'll enjoy it." I thought, "Yeah, well, I'll take a second mortgage, shall I?"
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for that. But anyway,
mate,
there you go.
Yeah, just before I take this last question, I see Darren and Vic having a little chat about Uxbridge and all that. These two know I'm only in Hayes. I'm literally just fucking 5 seconds away from Uxbridge. I'm in Uxbridge all the time because it's the closest town centre to me. Madness! I didn't realise you was that close, boys. But yeah, just quickly before I wrap up, a question for both Aaron and Jez. What is the greatest Arsenal match you guys have ever witnessed? Any game or competition, any era, live or on telly, or either way, either one. Let's include both. Go on, Jez. I'll let you go first because your knowledge is and experience of games is so much more vast than mine.
1989 Anfield away to win 2-0 against Liverpool to win Div 1. Bearing in mind we haven't won there since 74, and I was one of the 50,000 that was there. I get all the time all these people. "Oh, I was there. Were you? Okay, right, fair enough." Yeah. That's for me the one.
Yeah, unbelievable. Do you know what? Mine was. I reckon I'm going to go. I've already mentioned it in the chat. Like off the top of my head, I really like the 5-4 Arsenal Spurs game. That same one with the Robert Pires quick feet. And there's a specific reason why I like that game. It's because my two oldest, very, very, very close friends, Adam and Darren, twins, both Tottenham fans. And I watched it with them. The only time I've actually ever watched a North London derby with them, and it was at their gaff. What a game anyway, and we still won 5-4. And I just remember we was going out to like some like little do. I think it was only about 15 or something at the time. We was going to a little kids thing or whatever. And the old day, I was just absolutely hammering them. And that's what I mean by you could walk out with a little bit of chest that day. I sort of loved that just for the fact that I got to take the piss out of them every 5 seconds. But yeah, that was probably my most memorable anyway. There's been a good few sort of down the roads, but yeah, that just so I could rub it into their Spurs faces even that little bit more was fantastic. But that's what we do in it, Spurs. They'll always be Spurs. We've won the same amount of league titles as them at their gaff than they have. Do you know what I mean? It's an average club. I love reminding them at every single opportunity. Jez, mate, I didn't realise you was going to go on for so long. Thank you. I didn't realise you was going to come on at all. So thank you very much. Especially after the little crossroads that you've been on to make the effort and take the time out to come on and have a little chat with me. It's greatly appreciated it, mate. I know you might be thinking of taking a break, but let people know where they can find you when you bloody better come off of it.
No, I'm just we're going away. Look, this going away next week with the wife and the kids and the grandkids was planned ages ago. So it's not like a knee-jerk reaction. I am going to be taking a little bit of a break off YouTube. I'm going to have a little rethink about where the channel's going to go, what I can change in it, which is probably not a lot. But it's only because, mate, basically I was very pissed off after all the people over 6 months said, do these shows about the programs and all that. And last night, I was doing it, and like the views were shit. I thought, why am I bothering? After all the hours I've put in this week, getting the wife going up the loft, getting boxes after boxes after boxes of programs down, I'm going through them. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's good. That's my FA Cup finals. That's my semi-finals. That's this. That's that. La 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 la. Right, sorting it all out, doing all that, and I thought, fuck this.
Yeah.
Why am I bothering? Why am I bothering? And so, knee-jerk reaction last night. I had a rant about it. I left it and I've taken that one down. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'll be coming on other people's shows like tonight. I'm going on TJ's American Idiots later, and I'll be on other shows. You're not going to get rid of me that easily.
Good.
What I do with my channel right now, I'm not sure. Be truthful with you. I don't know. I'm not. I can't answer you that one. It may be that I bid it, and I just go on other people's shows.
Well, whatever you choose to do, I think every single person that subscribes, likes, love your content, will understand. Do you know what I mean? We do understand. It won't be the news we'll want, but we got to also appreciate that it's your decisions at the end of the day, and you've got to do what you feel will always ultimately be right for you, mate. Sometimes you've got to be a little sort of selfish, and if you think sometimes some bits ain't worth your time, and time's precious, isn't it, mate? Without going all cheesy, it's time, isn't it? That's a commodity you ain't ever getting back. Money won't even buy that, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I've come to the conclusion, mate, doing the history stuff is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. Fuck all watches it. And that's what pissed me off. And I had people, oh yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. We want to talk about, we'll hear your journey and about the programs and then no fucker watched it. I'm like, well, what's the point then? It's a punch in the face, Aaron. You think, I've made the effort. I've made the effort to make a stream and show you, and you don't bother watching it. Well, so what's the point, man?
Yeah, I could feel it. I didn't obviously totally understand it, but I could feel you, as I sort of said to you off stream. I could notice sort of like something, and I was like, oh yeah, he's not happy about this. Isn't a throwaway sort of like comment. I could sort of see that you were really unhappy with it, and you weren't being rude. You weren't being anything like that. You was just hurt. You know what I mean? Upset, frustrated, annoyed. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of time. And for people, that don't do this, I've only been doing it for 5 minutes, people. So I'm not going to claim to feel the same trouble. But there is a lot of stuff outside of, being on camera for 20 minutes, half hour, an hour and 49 minutes. Sorry, Jez. There's a lot, especially with Jez, doing the physical sort of stuff, a lot of organising, a lot of prep, to things like that. A lot of it goes into it. It's not just the time on screen, it's a lot of time sort of after. And it's nothing worse than feeling like it's not valued or you're wasting your time or the efforts, So I could feel it from you. I could see it, and it's obviously not nice, because what your stuff is unique. I personally believe I can't go on any other channel on YouTube and find your Arsenal content, which is fucking annoying. Why and that's obviously the crux of why you're so frustrated. It's just like, it is a unique show. It is. You have stuff that other people can't give anyone, but it's a little bit frustrating. But hey ho, I'll leave it there, Jez. But again, just briefly, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's always Always appreciated. And as well here, people, give us a like, give us a subscribe if it's your thing. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Friday. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy your Saturday night, hopefully with a win. And then Sunday, I'll be doing a little reaction if I can. And you'll be seeing my dad in an Arsenal top, worth every single penny. Come on, you Gunners. I'll be round in the morning giving you that 91 shirt, Father. You best be watching. I'll be banging on your door very early, my man. So get ready for it. Take care, everyone.